Okay, so this is a presentation task and we're looking at June 2013 paper 2 version 1. Again, the files that you need will be in the description. First thing you've got to do is obviously open up PowerPoint, have a blank slide like this. It then asks you to import an RTF document. To do that, go to new slide and then slides from outline. Browse to wherever the file is that you're importing, double click on it and it will put all of the different text on the correct slides. It says this should provide 6 slides each containing the title and some bullet points, so we need to remove any blank slides. So the first one that was already there we can delete. It then starts talking about the master slide. This is where most of your marks come from. So it says that the master slide needs to have a white background, it needs to have the logo in the top right hand corner. So we'll start with that bit. So go to view and then slide master. You've got to always scroll up to the top on the left hand side and click on the first slide, and you'll have to do that if you go in and out of master view. Don't forget that, otherwise certain things won't appear. So we've obviously already got the white background, so we need to put the logo in. You can either drag and drop that in or insert the image or copy and paste it, and it needed to be in the top right. It then says that the height of the image needs to be 2.5 centimeters with the aspect ratio maintained. So in the height box, type in 2.5 and press enter, and it will maintain all the proportions and it won't look stretched. It then says you need your name, your centre number, candidate number and your name in a 10-point black serif font, so we use Times New Roman, in the bottom right hand corner. You can't write in these boxes. These aren't text boxes, these are placeholders. This one, for instance, with the hash symbol in it, is the page number. So we can just move that out of the way for now. We may need it later on, we may not. But to put your name in, you've got to go to insert and then text box. Type in your name and your centre number and your candidate number. And we needed to have it in a 10-point black serif font, so again we use Times New Roman for that because it's a nice standard font. Make sure it's right in the bottom right, so there's going to be no issues with the exam board saying that it isn't. It then says you need automatic slide numbers in the bottom left hand corner, so this hash placeholder that we moved earlier needs to go in the bottom left, so we'll move the date out of the way and put that in the bottom left. Now that doesn't mean that it's going to show up. You've also got to go to insert slide number and tick the box that says slide number and apply to all. That will then make it show up on all of the slides. Finally, well not finally, one but last, a horizontal black line 3 points wide across the slide below the image. So that's simply putting insert shapes and then choosing a line, drawing it all the way across the page. Make sure it's nice and straight. If you double click on it, you'll make sure you get the correct options at the top. It needed to be black and it needed to have a weight, or they call it a width, of 3 points, so it should look like that. It then says you need the text renewable energy and a black 72-point serif font above the line, left aligned, to make sure the text doesn't wrap so that it's all on one line. Again, you can't write in this. This isn't a text box, this is a placeholder. Now this doesn't say that the slide title needs to go above the line, so what we can do is, if we bring this one underneath the line, then we've got space then to insert a text box above the line and type in the title that it asked us to, which was renewable energy. Try that again. Making sure you've got the right capital letters. It needed to be size 72 and it needed to be a serif font, so Times New Roman. And it's left aligned on the slide there quite clearly. Okay, so make sure that no master slide elements, text or images should overlap, and make sure everything's applied to all the slides. So make sure that yours isn't like that, that's overlapping the line. It's got to be above the line on the left with nothing else overlapping. Once you've done that, you can go to view and then go back to normal, and we should see then that on all the slides everything is there and nothing is overlapping. Okay, it now says we need to insert a new slide before slide 1. So if we right click just above it and go to new slide, we'll have got a blank slide put in the right place. It then says that we need to use the layout that has a title and a subtitle for the new slide. So if you right click on that and go to layout and make sure that it's title slide that's selected, which on ours it already is. It then says to enter the text wind power in Europe as the title. And the text progress since 1 January 2009 as the subtitle. Then says to delete the slide that has the text or the title European targets. So you can right click on it and go to delete. It then says to move the slide that has the title production so that it becomes slide 3. So that's just a case of dragging it and dropping it. And then it's the bit where we need to start making a graph. So it says create a vertical bar chart. Excel calls it a column chart. So a column chart using the table capacity to show the predicted growth in global wind power between 2010 and 2015. So in the shared area there is the data that you need to use. If it doesn't open in Excel, just copy and paste it into Excel. As always, resize all the columns so you can see what it is that you're dealing with. What you then need to do is to highlight the data and go to insert, choose column chart and just choose a basic 2D column chart. At the moment we've got it saying series 1 and series 2. If you right click on that and go to select data, and we can go over here and we can edit our series name to be 2010 and 2015. Sorry, cancel that. Edit series 1 and highlight that as 2010, and then edit the second one and have that as 2015. That will put them at the bottom with the correct colours. It then says that the chart title needs to be global wind power capacity, so we can add that in. And it needs to have the category series label displayed in full, so that is the key here at the bottom and all of these labels along the bottom, so that needs to be fully visible, which it is. And it needs the axis titles region and wind power capacity MW. So to do that, make sure you've got the chart selected and go to add chart elements, axis titles. You can add in the horizontal axis as region, and then you can add in the vertical axis as wind power capacity MW. Okay, once you've done that, copy and paste the graph, and it asks us to put it to the left of the bullet points on the slide with the title growth predictions. So if you go to growth predictions, it needs to go to the left of the bullet points. Don't try and make it so small that it fits here. It doesn't mention that the bullet points have to be on the left, so just move them out of the way so that you've got enough space to put your chart to the left of the bullet points. It then says to save the presentation and to print it with 6 slides to the page. So on the presentation, go to save, give it a sensible name. It then says to print it with 6 slides to a page, so on the print menu, instead of full page slides, choose 6 horizontal and print that out. And then it says to print the slide with growth predictions as a full slide. So for this one, we're not printing all slides, we're just printing slide number 6, and we want it 1 slide to a page. In fact, we can do full slide and it will print out like this. And that is everything you need to know for this particular paper. The only other thing that's ever come up, this is on the June 2012 one, is that they sometimes ask you to do transitions and animations. So I'm sure you know how to do that anyway, but if you need to put transitions in, go to the transitions window, pick one and press on apply to all, and then you can do a print screen to show that it's been selected at the top. And for animations, it might want bullet points coming in one by one. So for that, if you highlight the bullet points, go to animations, pick the one that you want. If you show the animation pane, then we can change them all to happen on click, so that each bullet point comes in individually.